What's up everyone, welcome back to the channel. You are watching Wargaming TV and we are playing Age of Empires 4 Definitive Edition. I just want to show you this game. Man, this game looks so freaking good. The way they have made it, they made so many changes. So we have a new game mode called the Crucible and we're gonna try it out. It's such an interesting one. You can actually buy, so it's like endless, it's like X Hero Siege. If you have ever played Warcraft 3, like the I don't know how to tell, like the newer generation, there was a game called Warcraft 3, uh, based on which Dota and League of Legends later on came out. So custom game modes was very famous in Warcraft 3, and in that there was an X Hero Siege custom mode. Okay, so it was like an endless waves after waves of defending the basically some castle or some building, right? So same thing here. I haven't entered into it, but overall it looks the same. Except instead of being one hero, we have a whole army, right? So we are supposed to defend the immortal, the thing. What's it called? We are supposed to defend the building, and wave after wave, the difficulty just goes on increasing. And the more you defend, the more medals you get. And you can actually buy perks so to increase your in-game efficiency. So you can level up and buy perks. So there's that level up character level up, or there's that level up kind of feeling. It's really amazing. So I want to try out this mode. Welcome to the channel, guys. My name is Ishan, and you're watching Wargaming TV / the Rage God 555 / the Rage God 11, YouTube, Twitch, and Kick. So I'm multi-streaming this. So you go here, you go to Crucible, Age of Empires Crucible. There's also playing grounds where you can play different challenges and some historic battles, but we are not going to do that. We are going to try Crucible now. So there's different stuff. Everyone wants a piece of the Byzantine Empire, along with the crashing waves, fields of pearls, blah blah blah. Pirates, Hierosyphons, and the crushing rush of the cataphracts. Part of the dynasties of the East DLC. And this is the Crucible. Welcome to Crucible, a challenge of endurance, strategy, and luck. Hold out against endless waves in dynamic mission that changes every time you play. All roads leads to your wonder, and the enemy is coming. Your wonder is the key to victory. It must be protected. Earn medals by surviving as long as possible. Enemy attacks will escalate as the mission progresses.
Stream Elements said. The RYZEGOD 555 is now live. Streaming just chatting, new game mode. Age of Empires 4 The Crucible.
Actually 555, not 555. Boons are now popular upgrades and abilities that you can select during a mission. You will periodically be offered a selection to choose from. Build a unique set of boons to crush your enemies. This is very interesting. You have two optional objectives to choose randomly, which are chosen randomly to complete. They are revealed at start of the mission. Complete them to earn powerful rewards. Points of interest, model hidden camps around the map. Find them and defeat their guardians to claim the rewards. That is so amazing. It's like now, it's like Warcraft 3. It has morphed into Warcraft 3. Use perk points to unlock permanent benefits between missions. Earn perk points by playing missions. The longer you survive, the more you earn. Take on greater challenges as your power grows. Let's go. Daimyo Dynamics. Get the artwork, man. I'm gonna play the Japanese stuff, okay. So and let's go random. Ops enabled. Difficulty is easiest. What's this? Okay. I'm gonna buy that. Go random. Civilizations, Golden Horde, Mongols variant, Macedonian Byzantine, Byzantines variant, Sengoku Daimyo, Japanese variant, related clans, the Tughlaq dynasty, which is Delhi Sultanate, into the Crucible. Very, very interesting. I gotta buy this stuff. 1019. Wow. That's too much. That is actually too much. I'm not gonna buy that much. That's crazy. Have some 233, but 1019. Mixed reviews. Oh, that's sad. The other DLCs. Do I buy that or what? You guys gotta donate to me, okay? If I have to, you wanna see that, you guys gotta donate to me. That's a bit. Hmm.
This video is sponsored by Warhammer Skulls. Hello Warhammer Community Hive for the update, which is absolutely huge and gives you some outdoor experiences with some of the best looking visuals I've seen in the game so far. I can't wait to see how the Skitarii is going to perform in battles there. The Rogue Trader DLC, The Infinite Museum, finally has a release date too, June 11th. Loads of releases are happening very close together. This is a good time to be a Warhammer fan. This DLC is going to feature one of the most famous Necrons in the 41st millennium, Trazyn. Your characters will be able to use unique implants, and not only that, there is a brand new companion character, the Genitor Extremis, Elgon Ferberus. And I think the big question of everyone's mind is, will Trazyn make you part of his collection? Bolt Gun 2 is going on demo. Yeah, you can play it right now. Bolt Gun 2 has been the highly anticipated sequel since the first game released, and it's already in a playable state for a Steam demo. This is going to be quite exciting. There's a brand new are back with another Chaos Gate game, this time focusing around the Death Watch. So it's definitely a little different compared to fighting hordes of Plague Marines. Instead, it looks like there's loads of Xenos. In the trailer alone, we've seen Tau, we've seen Orcs, we've seen Gene Stealers. This is really exciting. I'm really looking forward to seeing what their interpretation is going to be of the Death Watch, especially since it looks like we're going to be able to play around with a Dreadnought at some point. I really liked the first game. It was incredibly punishing. It really made you think strategically. I can't wait to see what's going to happen now. Instead of using Grey Knights, where we mostly focused around fighting demonic hordes, we'll be fighting varied Xenos races. Just with the 3 that we've seen in the trailer, those are all incredibly varied in terms of army style. So this is going to be incredibly interesting. And at the end, yeah, I could spy a Mutileth Vortex Beast. So the take of this trailer, Dawn of War 4, finally has a release date, September 17th. It's not that far away now, and not only that, but we've been treated to so much new information that we're going to have to talk about this quite a bit. Not only are we seeing loads of new information regarding this title, but we have a massive roadmap with loads of information, like for example Crusade mode. You might remember Dawn of War Soulstorm or even Dark Crusade. Well, it's looking like it might be kind of similar to that. And I can't wait. This was one of my favorite things about the original Dawn of War game. It looks like they've got loads of plans like map packs, new characters, and even a mission editor. This is overwhelming. The 2 characters are for the Last Stand mode. The Crusade mode will be releasing as a free deployment, but there are also plans for new paid-for campaigns, the Blood Raven story prologue, and the Aftermath campaign expansion, which will bring in a 5th faction to the game, which will bring in new playable commanders and will also expand the Crusade mode. There are two versions of this game. Of course, the standard version, which will have the base game and any free updates. But if you decide to purchase the Commander Edition, that will give you the 2 paid DLCs for free when they eventually release. I can't wait for Crusade mode. I'm sure they have loads of amazing plans for it. I played this title last year and it definitely scratched that itch that
Wow, looks crazy.
Can't wait to see how it's improved since. Mechanicus 2 has finally released. I know, I've been counting the days since the announcement too, and it's absolutely stellar. I've been playing it in my own time. A big thank you to the devs for the early access to it, and it feels so good. Literally a true successor to the original title. And yes, the soundtrack is also banging.
Sounds a bit boring for the, like, let's see. The step by step, like the turn-based stuff, that's not for me. But we actually added.
In 1350, what we know as the idyllic French countryside was a living hell. For more than 15 years, the people had suffered at the hands of English invaders. Little did they know that this war would last for another 100 years. But through this crucible of fighting, famine and plague, there would emerge the modern nation of France. England's King Edward III looked jealously across the English Channel. Wanting France for his own, he had added the fleur-de-lis, the symbol of France, to his own royal standard. This was an all-out declaration of war.
Hasty mistake.
In 1337, he invaded. But France already had a king, Philippe VI. As the English burned their way across the land, Philippe's army and his legendary knights marched to meet them, and came face to face with the English longbow. A simple weapon, but the most devastating the knights had ever faced. The heroes of France fell to storms of English arrows. The war engulfed the French countryside. By 1351, the conflict was focused on Brittany. One fight stands out as a spectacular display of chivalry. and a symbol of the wider conflict between the two enemy nations. The combat of the 30 is still commemorated here in Brittany. It was a dispute between two local families. Supported by the opposing sides in the war, the French and English commanders decided to settle it through a trial of knightly combat. Each side would choose 30 champions to fight on neutral ground. France prepared to defend itself against England's finest.
Wow. Crazy. Combat of the 30. The French captain Jean de Minor would enlist 30 great fighters to defend the France claim to Brittany. But on the opposing side, England's fiercest championship principle. Two sides will clash in an arena of chivalry combat. Knights were most valuable when captured in battle and later sold back for ransom. You can sell back knights? Oh no, they are talking about history, not the game.
Intent on ending the suffering of the French peasantry, Sir Jean de Beaumanoir sent a challenge to the English commander. 30 champions on each side would compete in a tournament for final claim to Brittany. With the battleground of the halfway oak agreed upon, Sir Jean set out to gather support from local knights. As a knight himself, Sir Jean followed the strict rules of chivalry and was expected to protect the local peasantry and ensure peace.
Je suis votre serveux. Pour votre service. Si attendons, incontinent. Avant, sus à l'ennemi. Si attendons. Je ris dans vos volets. Mon destrier rime. Lache, avec un pied ci, un pied là.
Most medieval tournaments were friendly in nature, held for sport and glory, but the combat of the 30 was arranged between opponents mired in war. English raids had torn through the countryside of Brittany and brought great hardship to the people. Sir Jean spotted an English raiding party attacking a nearby farmstead.
Résistance!
The French knights defeated the English raiders, and Sir Guy de Rochefort joined Sir Jean's party.
Retraietz vos amoi. Avant, compagnon. Si comme vos voldreis.
Sir Jean's search next brought him to Sir Geoffroy Dubois, whose squires were contending with a detachment of English longbowmen. The knights would use the great speed of their war horses to charge the archers and overwhelm them. The English longbowmen fell, but the French knights knew the enemy would attempt to retake the hilltop fortification and steeled themselves for further attacks.
Interesting. Age of Empires has really improved over the time. Like the storytelling, I'm loving it. Kill them. Huh? Wait, what? What do you mean defend? Oh, come on.
Intent on ending as a knight himself, Sir Jean followed the strict rules of chivalry and was expected to protect the local peasantry and ensure peace.
Koniec mojego sadwic. Avertizets vostre courage, compagnon. Si comme vos volves... Je suis votre serveur. À vos ordonnances.
Most medieval tournaments were friendly in nature, held for sport and glory, but the combat of the 30 was arranged between opponents mired in war. English raids had torn through the countryside of Brittany and brought great hardship to the people.
Avant, compagnon.
Sir Jean spotted an English raiding party attacking a nearby farmstead.
Incomage. Accessments.
The French knights defeated the English raiders, and Sir Guy de Rochefort joined Sir Jean's party.
Avant, compagnon. Là, un pied ci, un pied là.
Sir Jean's search next brought him to Sir Geoffroy Dubois, whose squires were contending with a detachment of English longbowmen. The knights would use the great speed of their war horses to charge the archers and overwhelm them. The English longbowmen fell, but the French knights knew the enemy would attempt to retake the hilltop fortification and steeled themselves for further attacks. With Sir Geoffroy by his side, Sir Jean had secured the outpost.
Si fez vos commandements. Comme vos placed.
Looking to secure his honor, a young knight held his ground on a bridge in Sir Jean's path.
Win the duel.
Honorably conceding defeat in the duel, Sir EVGA joined the cause.
Wow. So their armor by increase their armor by a large amount, increase the armor of all the allies by a large amount for 5 seconds and a smaller amount for 10 seconds.
So Jean entered the staging area for the tournament, where he prepared to choose which knights would join him in battle.
Select champions to combat the English.
Each knight would be accompanied by his squires, young nobles in training to become knights themselves. Sir Jean had selected his champions. As the sun rose, the two sides entered the arena, ready for the first round of combat. Claiming an easy victory in the first round, the French champions left the arena to recover their strength.
Attendez les commandements. Chefs.
Refreshed and reinvigorated, the French knights returned to the arena for another round of combat. The combat of the 30 was about to decide which nation would control the Duchy of Brittany.
Avertissez votre courage, compagnon. Je suis votre serviteur.
Triumphant, Sir Jean de Beaumanoir and his loyal knights claimed victory. The combat of the 30 had decided control of Brittany in favor of the French. Little did the two
Nice.
sides know, this was just the beginning of a bitter war that would outlive them all.
Oh. French and English at each other's throats. I love the storytelling of this game. They maintain that storytelling part. That's what I love. They should add in more game modes and all that, but really good.
In the 100 Years' War, the English used a terror tactic, a raid through enemy territory, intended to intimidate and provoke the French into battle. It was called chevauchée. The principal weapon for chevauchée was fire.
Basically
As
burning.
it was delivered was with incendiary arrows.
Challenge with incendiary arrows? Keeping them alight.
One type of incendiary arrow was fueled with gunpowder.
We've got charcoal, got sulfur, and we've got saltpeter. Saltpeter is the main ingredient. The more oxygen you put into it, the hotter it burns. Of course, when it's on an arrow, when it's being shot, you've got a turbocharged airstream.
The chemicals are bound together with brandy, left to dry, and poured into a linen bag. The extra long arrowhead is inserted into the bag and then tied off to secure it. It is then sealed by dipping it into boiling tree resin. This resin, which itself is highly flammable, provides a waterproof casing. It also shields the burning gunpowder, so the wind doesn't put it out in flight.
Now that looks deadly, and I really want to shoot it.
The art to shooting an incendiary arrow is timing. Too early, and it will go out. Too late, it will spit at you like a dragon.
That was just evil. That was great.
The word chevauchée means horse raid, and it was mobile light horsemen who spearheaded the attacks. They took gold and silver from the churches, valuables from wealthy citizens, and as much food and drink as they could find from anyone.
Bastards. So you raid civilians.
A
Not
chevauchée was scorched earth warfare to create discontent amongst the enemy's subjects, perhaps even to get them to turn against their king. An army on campaign needed a decisive battle, and a chevauchée was intended to taunt the enemy to come out and fight. After victory at the Combat of the 30, the French faced devastating raids from England's Black Prince. But France's King Jean II was closing in. Jean finally caught the English near the city of Poitiers in September 1356. The French army outnumbered the English by thousands. King Jean himself joined the fight, but what seemed a certain victory for France soon turned into a nightmare.
Is that so?
The English longbow devastated the mighty French army.
Oh,
An endless hail of arrows gutted the main French force. Then the English captured King Jean.
oh no.
The fight was over. The Battle of Poitiers was another catastrophic defeat for the French. The English had destroyed most of France's nobility in a single day.
Wow.
Now they turned their attention towards taking the French capital, Paris. The invaders marched unopposed towards Paris.
You
Ruins
salsa.
of some of the medieval walls of Paris still stand today.
Oh.
As the English army approached, the terrified locals sought shelter behind these defenses. Could France's capital withstand the full might of the Black Prince's army?
Siege of Paris, English 1360. Mission, the Siege of Paris 1360. The English were coming for Paris as Parisians took shelter behind the capital's wall. French army prepared to defend the city on only their determination, and a few feet of stonewood stood between the victory and defeat. Sorry guys, I'm really tired and sleepy. Oh my god.
The English Black Prince had raided the French countryside without mercy. And now his army had come for the capital. With the English on their doorstep, it fell to the French army and the people of Paris to defend the walls of their proud city. Hoping to avoid open battle, the French began fortifying the city, manning the walls and calling every available soldier to his post. As the French hastened their preparations, several detachments of English soldiers were spotted closing in on the city.
Reste pour la besogne, madame. Oil, messieurs, laissez-moi y exploiter. Je bosse amène mes riens. Attendez les commandes. Si, commandos. exploitière.
Oh, there's an objective.
The English
Didn't see the option.
Black
Obelest au col. Avant.
hoping to avoid open battle, the French began fortifying the city, manning the walls and calling every available soldier to his post.
Besoin à faire, pour vos servir.
Oil, mestier, si, comme un volet.
As the French hastened their preparations, several detachments of English soldiers were spotted closing in on the city.
Manance, ouvrons donc. Mestier reste en jambe. Reste pour la besoin, Manance. Manance, nos devons salaire. Adaptance de monde. Lors devant nos salaires.
The English showed no mercy, burning their way to Paris via 3 routes, each of which was home to villages and farms that supplied the capital.
Attendez les commandements. Manance. Impriming. Manance, prête à œuvrer. Besoin à faire. Attendez les commandements. Manance. Accordé. Oh yes, tout le monde. Veillez à la mine. Marchiez arrière moi, très tous. Manance, ouvrons les guerres pistons, Manance.
Oh yes, tout le monde. Allons, ça reste tout. Attendez les si, les exploiteurs. Accordé.
Besoin à faire. Reste pour la besogne, Manance. Accordé.
Oi, mestier de moi.
Les ordonnances.
À votre commandement.
Veuillez-moi besoin. Giovanni Basti. Mon arc est prêt. Les gens. Archers, prenez vos arcs. Ne demeurez point slat to coin. On déguerpit,
Having struck out at the English front line, the French had slowed the enemy's advance.
Achès mes vos, archers, archers, allons primo. Allons, manance.
Menace, offense, donc. Et compresse. Menace, nos devons de salaire.
Oh, me faut
Advertence, tout le monde.
en du besoigne en grand air. Oil, mais besoigne ne s'attend. Manance. Et comprend. Que faut-il donc besoigner?
Que faut-il donc besoigner?
Oyez les ordonnances.
Fouillest ma toute vie.
Oui, là.
As the French continued to rally their army, the English took the last of the surrounding villages and had almost encircled Paris.
Jasque moult avance fouet à traire.
Reste là, c'est moi y exploité. Bonne besoigne et je fecte. Oyez leurs devons nos salaires.
With the countryside in flames and the English at the city gates, the French armies steeled themselves for battle. Now came the capital's true test. Would the mighty walls of Paris hold against a fearsome English siege? The Parisian Guard raised the alarm as the English began their first assault on the city walls.
Size.
Archers, oyez, commandement, archère, allons. L'ennemi, notre archi!
Bonne besoigne et je fecte. Advertarci comme volet. Rappareillement.
The French army fought valiantly, repelling the first English attack.
Les commandements, manance! Devers où faut le job tempère?
Correct, lancière.
Compagnon.
Ayez cure, mec dans ce à la voie. Bien.
Chestnut Voss.
Compagnon. Ayez. À coup de pouces, lancière. Lancière. Ayez ça tourne. Ça. Avance grand lance.
En besoigne.
Je me laisse te parer.
Annonce ça. Tous de ya, Laurets. ma toute.
Manance, précis, vais exploiteur. Vais à la mine.
Accessmetsvos, kom... Accessmets!
Dites-moi, Archers. Prenez ce
Restus samsprest. Avant, mes seigneurs. Friedens and von Order!
Baillez-moi. Adertan seulement. À votre commandement. Alors ce bâti, je sais tuer.
Restus samsprest! Brest, vor une sanglante antique! Service on ordonnance!
Baillez-moi.
Pour vous servir.
Bien oye.
Dictez-moi une bersaise.
En besogne. Oui, là.
Som cesse le temps d'at...
Compagnon.
Brest, pour votre service. Attendez les commandements. Accessmetsvos! Accessmetsvos on the streets! What's the gun? Chevalier! Assaillez vos armées! À l'assaut, chevalier!
J'exploite les réparements.
Où sont les commandements?
Jetsmith Alliance, informé. Archers! Archers! Primo! Lancière, gardez de boxe.
Jetsmith compagnon, aux alarmes.
Compagnon, danse sur le feu.
Respire de loin. Sens nul.
Là, c'est moi exploité. Oui, là. En besoin. Si, ça me moleste. Qui traîne sans Streamlabs. Oui, me faut-il frère. Je vais rappareiller ce manoir. L'entière est place. Monarque express. Allons ça, Trestuts. Pour vous servir.
Oh, it had. Okay. Let's try this again. It actually had the empanelment option. I didn't. That makes life very much easier.
Hoping to avoid open battle, the French began fortifying the city, manning the walls and calling every available soldier to his post.
Advertence, tout le monde. Fouillers ma toute vie, si comme volette. Mais il traîne sans là.
As the French hastened their preparations, several detachments of English soldiers were spotted closing in on the city.
Homme fort trail.
Besoin. Les ordonnances.
Bien, bien.
Lors Batige s'essuie.
Accordé.
Besoin. Bien, bien. Vaïs. Bien.
Que faut-il donc?
Advertant. Marche derrière moi, Trestuts.
Bien, bien.
Faut-il donc
Oh
faire?
yes, tout le monde. EVGA outchance. Besoin après.
Oh yes, tout le monde. Alors tu besoin en grande terre.
The English showed no mercy, burning their way to Paris via 3 routes, each of which was home to villages and farms that supplied the capital.
Sivage outjumps.
En besoin.
Oh yes, les ordonnances. Lors devance nos salaires. Oh me faut.
Oh yes, les ordonnances. À votre commandement. Oh, mestière de moi, pour vous savoir que faut-il donc besoin.
Hi.
Hoping to avoid open battle, the French began fortifying the city, manning the walls and calling every available soldier to his post.
Che fauti donc suis en quemin. Bayets moué besoin dans
Annonce! Mesti reste en jambert.
Oyet les ordonnances. Lors devance nos salaires.
As the French hastened their preparations, several detachments of English soldiers were spotted closing in on the city.
Oyet les ordonnances. Vequer advertans. Allons ça, tres tous. Oyet tout le monde.
Advertence tout le monde. Fouillère reste ma toute vie.
Besoin à faire. Pour vous servir. Oh, me faut trahir. Oyez les ordonnances. À votre commandement.
Bien, bien.
Marchier. Besoin nos at. Si, comme vous voulez.
En besoin.
The English showed no mercy, burning their way to Paris via 3 routes, each of which was home to villages and farms that supplied the capital.
Besoin à faire.
Oyez, si vous exploitiez. Je vous amène mérite. Attendez les commandements, manance. Oil, messieurs. Manance, preste à bien me plaît, ça aurait besoin de faire. Si vous exploitiez. Alors ce bâtiment.
Pour le fa au trail. Bayets moué besoin. Where? Y vais donc. Oui, d'aves en besoin. Giovanni Bastille.
Vayez moi besoin. Tous de ya Lauret.
Showed no mercy, burning their way to Paris via 3 routes, each of which was home to villages and farms that supplied the capital. Having struck out at the English front line, the French had slowed the enemy's advance.
Pex, jeunesse Lydieur. J'obtends père à vos offices. J'y vois de ces
French continued to rally their army, the English took the last of the surrounding villages and had almost encircled Paris.
Que faut-il donc? Adverbe, marche, arrière-moi, très toutes. Provence, allons ça, très toutes. Veille à la mine. Accordé. Quoi ça?
Oyette, marche arrière, moi, très tous. Et compresses.
With the countryside in flames and the English at the city gates, the French armies steeled themselves for battle. Now came the capital's true test. Would the mighty walls of Paris hold against a fearsome English siege?
La lance presse.
The Parisian Guard raised the alarm as the English began their first assault on the city walls.
Les autres, avant, à mon access avant. Oyez bien, compagnon. Recueillez vos armes. Connaissez-moi de sa ceste vertu. On me laisse parer.
Manouer assouvi. Belle œuvre.
Dictez-moi une Versailles. Sur quoi me faut-il faire?
The French army fought valiantly, repelling the first English attack.
Versailles, donc. Une autre Versailles? Attends, avertissez votre courage, compagnon. Soyez prêts, compagnon. Compagnon, une Versailles. Va ici.
La lance presse.
Quando je commande, avance.
Quoi? Ci les ordonnances.
Quando je commande, avance.
Access vos.
Retrayez vos à moi.
Oyette, les les exploiteurs. Là, c'est moi exploité. Allons, ça tresse tous. Lors Batige s'estui.
L'heure, c'est comme vos voldrez.
tout le monde.
Là, c'est moins exploité.
C'est gars mon père.
Oui, reste ma toute vie.
Et comprends. Mourir.
Attendez.
Avante, compagnon. Honneur est d'obéir. Je suis votre serveuse.
Longtemps va-t-il demeurer? Comment vous appelez?
Nous allons! Sommes en ordonnance, nous sommes prêts. Incontinent! Ainsi comme votre oncle! Pour votre grâce, le temps de votre ciel, les sommes en ordonnance! Mes seigneurs! Il est je suis votre serveur. Incontinent. Greetings and bonjour. C'est le temps de la matière, mes seigneurs. C'est tout pour votre service qui seul tient nos affaires. Attendez pour votre service.
Besoigné à Oyette, marchier hier, ouais, Trestos. Je vais reparier ce manoir.
Access Metzvos, l'heure incontinent. Je suis votre serveuse.
Oyette, lance des vols sur le salaire. Souhaite des réparements.
Compagnon,
Presque pour la besogne, madame. Allons, ça presse tous. En besoin, à votre commandement.
Although the walls of Paris had been breached, the French could still hold the city, so long as its mighty landmarks did not fall.
And this is so tough.
the ruthless English army began burning the great Parisian landmarks. The French were running out of time to expel the enemy from their city.
This is going to work.
Hoping to avoid open battle, the French began fortifying the city, manning the walls and calling every available soldier to his post. As the French hastened their preparations, several detachments of English soldiers were spotted closing in on the city.
L'ors bâti de s'estuie. Baillez-moi, besoigne nos attentes. Manats.
Oi, mestier de... Attendez les commandements, Manans. Ça est bel manuer.
Adertan se demande.
Baillez-moi besoigne. Pour savoir, bien, veille.
Que faut-il donc besoin? Oh, yes, tout le monde. Pour savoir, mestier de bois. Fouillez reste ma toute vie.
Bien, bien. Oh, me faut
Oh yes, les ordonnances. Base à la mine.
besoin de faire.
The English showed no mercy, burning their way to Paris via 3 routes,
En besoin.
each of which was home to villages and farms that supplied the capital.
Que faut-il donc besoigner? Longtemps se va-t-il? Je suis sans voué. Oh, mestir de moi? Manoué rassou.
Besoin d'y à faire?
Vaillez de moi, besoin.
Giovanni Bastien.
Oh, me faut trail. Toast yalo.
Oh, me faut trahir? Toast ya Lauretz.
En besoin.
Ça est belle Manuel.
Ça est belle manoué.
Bonne besogne expect.
L'homme bâti, je sais tu.
Quel est votre plaisir?
Having struck out at the English front line, the French had slowed the enemy's advance.
Sur quoi me faut-il traire? Quoi faut-il faire? Je veux vos obéir. Allons, preste. Dictez-moi une belle. Sur quoi faut-il faire? Chestmet, oui, abarmé. Compagnon, aux allons. Comme il vous plaise.
As the French continued to rally their army, the English took the last of the surrounding villages and had almost encircled Paris.
Ainsi soit-il.
C'est vertu.
With the countryside in flames and the English at the city gates, the French army steeled themselves for battle. Now came the capital's true test. Would the mighty walls of Paris hold against a fearsome English siege? The Parisian Guard raised the alarm as the English began their first assault on the city walls.
Je veux vos obéir.
The French army fought valiantly, repelling the first English attack.
Reste tous samsprest.
Quoi faut-il faire?
À votre commandement. Soyez prêts, comprendrez vos amouets. Avertissez votre collège, compagnons. Avante, compagnon. Accepte, je gagne, mais ici, laisse commandement.
À votre ordonnance.
Sur quoi me faut-il faire?
Aïe, mestière de moi. Je vais aller Bastille.
Arrête tout le monde. Lors bâti de ces streams. Oui, là, bien. Église-moi une Versailles.
Est de besoin.
Voyez bien, ici, là.
Soyez prêts, compagnons.
Faut-il faire? Obéleste par quoi faut-il faire?
En besoin.
Oyez, tous le monde. Allons, ça reste tous. Je vais aller Bastille.
Oil, der seulement. Tous de ya lauretz.
Sur quoi me faut-il traire? Oye, bien, compañeros, nos allons embelestier. A pointiers bas, nos des Spartans, vraiment. Oye, bien. Allons, à parmer. A chesmes, nos des Spartans, vraiment.
Saïs-moi mon Versailles.
Oralbant. Ici, laisse commandement. À parmer.
Soyez de attentifs.
Nos des Spartans, vraiment. Compagnon, oyez bien.
Lancière en place.
Les autres, les compagnons, fait ici les commandements. Nos des Spartans, vraiment. Attendez, je commande. Jouez votre Versailles. Ich bin gut. Access mes boss. Access mes boss armé. Antwort.
Presst euch.
Aber les petits compagnons, nos amis. Je gagne mon gage.
Prest suis droit est ma voix. Amen.
Devant soyez Arbalèstre, bien arrivé. Arbalèstre, oui, à parler.
Bien vos soins. Si le ferez d'entos.
Arbalèstier, Richard Boss, nos déguerpissons. Intelligent machine. Obeleste paré. Mais ici, laisse commandement. À coup de boss entier. Jetman boss avion. Je gagne mon game. À Jetman boss obeleste.
The French defense of their capital held firm, wearing down the English invaders one by one.
Allons, à Parmeil.
Bien vos jouez votre plaisir.
What's the gun? En ordonnance. Arbelestre, à chest mes boss. À chest mes boss. Oui, à Parmeil. Allons, à Parmeil.
Por vos flux dei via mea mostendet. Incontinent.
Où me faut-il faire? À chest, Oralban, compagnon, aux allons. Jet mes boss activé. Compagnon, nos allons. Ça, compagnon. Oralband. Ça, compagnon. Oralband. Obéir, c'est vertu. Compagnon, allez.
Dicte votre plaisir.
Oyez bien, compagnon. Comme il vous plaît. Chevalier. Oui. Chevalier.
enemy grew ever more desperate as their ranks thinned and their hopes of victory faded.
Alors, sommes incontinent. Jetzt mes vos avionament, Oberestier. Restus samspreist Sommes und Ordnance. Alarson, Chevalier. Oyez bien, compagnon. Oyez bien, compagnon. Comme il vous plaît.
Reste suisse de vos servir.
En bon ordre. L'ancien honneur. Oh, Gertes.
Pour vos servir.
Ayez sa tour de guerrière, ça. Compagnon, là ici, laisse comme ça. Les Spartans, Freeman. Compagnon, nous allons. Obeleste paré. Donnez-moi vos saluts. Mais ici, laisse comme si vous. Un coup prête vos bordés guapés.
Dictis vos commandements.
Although the walls of Paris had been breached, the French could still hold the city, so long as its mighty landmarks did not fall. Defeated and demoralized by the strength of the French defense, the Black Prince's army abandoned their siege of the capital. Paris celebrated victory, but this was not the last test the French would face in their struggle to win the war. The walls of Paris held out against the English onslaught. England's King Edward and the Black Prince abandoned the siege. They marched towards Chartres to try their luck at conquering a less formidable target. But before they could attack, a violent storm hit the army. Killing 1,000 English soldiers in a tempest of hail and freezing winds.
Oh.
To Edward, this Black Monday disaster seemed like divine retribution. A sign that it was time to stop waging war and make peace with France's King Jean. But even as peace between kings was reached, the people of France were still living in bloodshed and turmoil. Between 1358 and 1370, France was in chaos. Peasant uprisings, rampaging bands of mercenaries, and civil war ravaged the country. Peasants rose in rebellion, killing their lords and wreaking havoc. Mercenary bands also roamed the land. Known as routiers, they had once been hired by the English to fight against the French, but were cut loose when peace was reached. They systematically ravaged and pillaged towns across France. And with King Jean prisoner in England, his son Charles the Dauphin faced homegrown attacks on his rule by powerful French lords, beset from all sides. The Dauphin's forces had to regain control over their own country.
That's a tough way to start a empire or start your rule as a king.
Having only recently been crowned King of France, Charles V dispatched his army to the French-held village of Évreux to forge order from chaos. From here, the army would move to extinguish three major threats: Bands of roving mercenaries harrying the countryside, a peasant uprising, and attacks from a rival for the French crown, Charles of Navarre. The French army would start by reclaiming the rebel-held villages of Cocherel, Jouy, and Croissy.
Cavallarius barat!
Escolte bene. Ok.
Comprendo.
Dolme bien. Quitamus.
Toute sodité.
Vale. Tuts aussi bene. Laburo.
Et celi mandement.
Colones paretis. Vale.
Colones sunt ici.
Quid me? Si, comprendo.
Escolte bene.
Comprendo. Mandes quid.
Colones paraitis.
Quid labur?
Et celi mandement.
Ok.
Labour speranza. Io sono la cose.
Colones parat c'est prendre. Parat pour venir.
Buon labour.
Parat pour laborar. Mandemans colones. Bene. Pose sera ma sonata. Tendo. Labour spérance. Quid? Mais
As the French army struggled to regain control of the countryside, they were struck by a band of English routiers. These mercenaries had been cut loose by the English army and were plundering the countryside in order to make a living.
Cos'è sarà massonata?
Colonesito. Buon labor.
Quid labour? Colones requiem dito. Monastial pour la matériel.
Audite, milites.
Bene.
Equites, in avant.
Comprare.
Ordine tene pace bove.
Ci sommes. Vido aussi. Retourno comme barat pour venir.
Escolte bene. Temps de retournar.
Perfect.
Retourno comme matériel.
Lento.
Caval parat!
Aten est facile, cavalier. Est facile, cavalier. Interférir l'ennemi.
Si, ça me va.
The French forces eliminated the routier attack, but more was still raiding the countryside in search of provisions and riches. The routier demanded payment from the French, or they would continue their horrifying raids.
Sagita in arco. Arco parat.
Lanquier parat!
Mande squad.
La sera.
Odite. Barat pour labourar.
Mande squid. Colones requient mandement.
Attention! En pueste de batalla!
Sagita in arco. Archi apparat. Bene, Odite. Allons.
Ordine tenens!
Labour Spérance. Mandement, colonel. Mauvais colonel.
Dolme bien!
Arco parat.
Barak pour venir. Io ma sono la cosa. Quid me, ci sommes. I affect. Li refaccio.
Audi orchest!
Barat pour laborar. Vado laborar.
Archi apparat.
Quid labour? Sito. Momentito. Colones
Sagitta in
requient mandement. Vado laborar. Vale.
Quid me? Movenskito.
Quid facies?
Io ma sono la cose. Mande squad. Quito. Cos'è sarà massonata?
Me plect.
Dolme bien! Move!
Preparate! Ogedite! Sin retornare! Barat pour labourar. Si sommes.
Felice et beat.
Vado labourar.
Me plect.
Parates, bene, bene. Si. Audience.
Ordine si va bien!
Barat. Sagita in arco.
Come Mondes!
Arquière Parat. La bourse Pérance.
Tourma.
Fait.
Si. Lanquier Parat.
Arco Parat.
Course in avant, cursores. Ok. À grande course. Ok. Allez.
Sagitaina.
Certe. Nella caval. Cursor obedience. Cibole Hernandez. Si. Oye, oye.
Parat Porvenir.
Parates Servientes. Venies Servientes. In avant Servientes.
Entendo.
Odite. Omedio.
Bene fait.
Estro Azul. Parate Arquière. Bene, bene. Parat ambulance. Alonzi. En la barra. In ayuda. Arquière Parat. Si. Momente si in avant. Servientes. Si est. Entendo.
Attention. Novos ordinaires.
Parate Arquiers.
Me plect.
The French discovered the Routier hidden camp and could put an end to the English raids if they could destroy the camp.
Bene, bene! Arcos Vigio! In petto! Preparate Arquier! Intento! Oye! Bene, bene! Arquier! In avant! Oye! Homes, preparate! En la barra! Bene, Arquier!
Enquested. Vitesse second mandement. Sommes parquite cursores. Comprendo. Bene. Commandos.
Hayek, Commandos!
Buon lavoro.
Sagita in arco.
Quid d'ordine.
Commandos.
Colones Paretis. Un acial pour la bataille. C'est qui est, Colones?
Arco Parat. parat.
Colonnes sunt ici.
Vale. Arco parat. Bene, bene. Odite. Audience! Tourne.
Me plect.
Commandos. Vale. Salita in arco!
Colonnes, vido, sì. Colonnes, parti. Ok. Colonnes, parti. Bien fait. Cos'è ce ramassona?
Moment in avant, Darker! Arco parat.
Beat.
Quoi de labour? Camino.
Buon lavoro.
Preparate, Archer. Commandos. Caval parat.
Buon lavoro.
Sagita in arco. Quel parat.
Labour Sperance. Vado laburar.
Mande squad? Si, comprendo.
Cos'è sarà massonata?
Bene fatto.
Tutto sodite! Io ma sono la cose.
Arco parat.
Felice et beat.
Buon lavoro!
Archer parat.
Parats pour labourar. Six hommes. Il est rance. Quoi de capere?
Sagita in arco.
Vuelve.
Odite. Tourna.
Adens par bataille! Parats! A calque!
Quel ordines. Preparate, Archer. Obedio.
Speranza.
Eccelimandament. Puedo capere.
Mehr Sultan!
Labour Speranza.
Ici va Toast. Capere?
Bueno, padre. Odio. A medio fuoco. Descuo. Cavalleria sparare. Scalafona. Sì. In avanti. Di te.
With the Routier camp destroyed, mercenary attacks were no longer a threat.
Ascolte bene. Cose sarà massonata. Quaid me. Io massono la cose.
Arquière passe.
Beneffect.
Là! Bien, in avant, servientes! Odite, servientes! Bene o bene. Odio. Attendite. Bene aussi. Momentesti, vade, archière. Odite. In avant, servientes. In avant! Obedio. Odio. Attention, in avance. Sitôt. Audite, milites. Mauvais tourpes. Audite. En common cause. Dans le milieu. Si, comprendo. Odite, esercito. Attention, novos ordines. Interferir l'ennemi. Odite, si. Bene, odite. Ite.
Mande squid.
Quid labour? Si, bene. Quid me? Si, comprendo. Quid labour?
Tuts odite.
Si, bene. Intendo.
Ordine tenez. Attention. Pace, mauvais. Second mandement.
The central monastery town of CRUCIBLE was still under the control of rebel peasants. The French army would have to take it before they could launch an assault on Charles of Navarre. In taking the village of Jouy, the French army was closer to stemming the peasant rebellion and regaining control. The village of Croissy, rich in gold deposits, was a crucial town for the French to reclaim. The French army defeated the rebels at Croissy and took control of the gold-rich village.
La bourse fait
Escolte bene. Movamos vale tous. Parat pour la bourse Perance.
MOBO. Sagitta in artière in avant.
La bourse Perance.
Paris pour la bourra.
Tuts audite. Si, comprendo. Cose sarà ma sonata.
Arco parade.
Parade pour venir. Prat et terra.
The French army took control of the rebel villages, and the peasant uprising was subdued. But to keep control over the region, They would need to defend its center of influence, the monastery at Cocherel.
Pour vous servir. Si le feu est un toast. Certes.
Northeast of Cocherel, Charles of Navarre's army had established a fortified camp. The King of Navarre sought to make himself ruler of France as well. He intended to press his claim by destroying the newly arrived royal forces.
Avertissez votre courage, compagnon. Acces vos, si campus voldreis.
Un besoin. Oyez, la cette moelle exploitée. Lors Battige s'estui. Giovanni Bastir.
Accordé.
Giovanni Bastir. Bayet moué besoigne.
Oil, mestier des mouets.
Soyez wand, je commande. Avance. L'heure avance, compagnon. Pour votre service, soit bande, je commande, avance. Compagnon. Au nord.
Pushing up the hillside, the French discovered Charles of Navarre's camp. His front line had the high ground and was made up entirely of archers. The French would have to think carefully about how to approach the stronghold.
Que faut-il donc besoin? Aïe, si toast. Bayets moi.
Oyez les ordonnances. Bien me plaît à œuvrer aux chances. Lors devant Snors à l'air. Bien oyez. Dos dialores. Accordez. Lors Battige s'estue. Oh, me fa un trail. Oil, si toast. Lors Battige s'estue.
Oh, me faut.
Advertence. Allons, Satrestos.
Oyez, tout le monde.
Oyez les ordonnances si comme volets. Dos dialores. Vida. Giovanni Bastir.
Besoin à faire à votre commandement. se bâtit de ses stuits. Hem besogne. Ouais, y baisse donc.
Prêt, vertu, gouille de m'avouer. Or le ferai-je.
Access Metzvos, compagnon. Je vais procéder. Je suis votre serveuse.
Besogne à fait? Toast ya Lauretz. Giovanni Bastia. Oh, me faut trahir, puissant web! Si, comme Valette! Tout
Rejoignez vert.
Christus some spread!
Baillez-moi besogne. Sivez exploiteur. Ardu besoigne en grande terre.
L'heure est de besoigner. Accessments vos armoires! Avant! Recueillez vos armoires!
Thank you all for watching. Like, subscribe, comment, see you later. Bye.